John Gill's exposition of the entire Bible, verse by verse. Being read by Dr. Peter John. Revelation, chapter 8, verse 1. Scripture, quote, "And when he had opened the seventh seal," unquote. John Gill, quote, "That is, when the Lamb had opened the seventh and last seal of the sealed book," unquote. Scripture, quote, "There was silence in the heaven about the space of half an hour," unquote. John Gill, quote, "Not in the third heaven, the seat of the divine being of angels and glorified saints, where are hallelujahs without intermission, but in the church, which is oftentimes signified by heaven in this book, and where now the throne of God was placed in that form as described in Revelation chapter 4, verse 4, or rather in the Roman Empire. Nor is this the silence the sum of the seal, or the only thing in it, for it includes the preparation of the seven angels to take their trumpets, though none of them were sounded during this period. This space of time, some think, refers to the time which elapsed while the angel who had incense given him to offer it with the prayers of saints did so, and took fire off the altar with his censer and cast it on the earth, and while the seven angels had their trumpets given them, and they were preparing to sound. Others are of opinion that this was only a pause, a breathing time for John between the former visions and seals and the following, nothing being said or done, or anything exhibited to him during this interval. But he was at leisure to reflect on what he had seen, and to prepare for what was to come. Others understand it of the amazement of the saint at the judgments of God, which were coming upon the Christian empire, and of their quiet and silent preparations for these troubles and combats, both within and without. They were to be exercised with. See Zechariah 2, verse 13. Others have thought that this refers to the state of the saints after the day of judgment, when there will be an entire cessation from persecution and trouble, when the souls under the altar will have done crying for vengeance. But this will be not for half an hour only, but to all eternity. Nor will angels and saints be then silent. Rather, this is to be understood of that peace and rest which the church enjoyed upon Constantine having defeated all his enemies, when he brought the church into a state of profound tranquility and ease. And this lasted but for a little while, which is here expressed by about or almost half an hour, as the Syriac version renders it. For in a short time the Arian heresy broke out, which introduced great troubles in the church, and at last violent persecutions. The allusion is, as in the whole of the following vision of the angel at the altar, to the offering of incense, at which time the people were removed from the temple, from between the porch and altar, to some more distant place, and the priest was alone while he offered incense, and then prayed a short prayer, that the people might not be affrighted, lest he should be dead, and who in the meanwhile were praying in a silent manner without. See Luke chapter 1, verse 19. Hence the Jews say that the offering of incense atones for all ill tongue, for it is a thing that is introduced silently, and it atones for what is done silently, such as whisperings, backbitings, etc. And they call silence the best spice, even of those of which the sweet incense was made. End of John Gill, Revelations chapter 8, verse 1.